As someone who's lived with Great Danes for the better part of 3 decades, I can assure you giant breeds are something else. It's not just a choice of a breed, it's a lifestyle choice. I'm going to share my experiences with you on giant breeds and what you can expect if you're considering adding one to your home. First up is the Anatolian Shepherd. Not a breed for a first-time owner and probably not the best choice as a family dog breed. These dogs are really suited to still doing their job. They're quite primitive in that regard. I haven't worked with many of them, but the ones that I have worked with really struck me by how content they were just to be doing their own thing, and quite serious dogs. Activity level is pretty low. As a result of this, they're more sort of sentinels. They're keeping an eye out for anything suspicious or dodgy. Sociability, the sociability in their working role is going to obviously be very low towards other dogs and probably towards humans that it doesn't know as well, because that's the whole function of the breed, is to keep their livestock safe, to protect them from outside forces. In a domestic environment, I guess if you put a lot of effort into socializing, it is possible to expand that. We must never lose sight of the fact that this dog was not bred to be a social, contemporary domestic pet. This is still quite a primitive working breed as a livestock guardian, so definitely not a breed that I would recommend as a family pet. Not very noisy. Their coats could require a little bit of maintenance just in terms of brushing, but I think there are quite a few other giant breeds that are much better suited to be domestic pets, and that leads us to our next one, which is the Corso. Now, even though this is not a giant in terms of height, I've put them into the giant dog category because it's a lot of dog. Activity level can be moderate, sometimes a little bit edging towards the high side. Sociability, they're not gonna be naturally sociable, especially to other dogs. And even with new people, it can take a bit of time for them to warm up. This is a lot of dog. You need to know what you're dealing with here. You need to have your wits about you. When things go wrong with a Corso, they go really, really wrong. So again, not a great breed for a novice to start off with. Not very noisy dogs, and their coats are super easy to maintain. In a similar vein, we have the Dogue de Bordeaux, and I've honestly never worked with one, but from what I can gather, they would be quite similar to the Corso in terms of temperament. I think they're a little bit smaller than them, but a similar kind of temperament, a guarding Mastiff type breed. Giant breeds are breathtaking, but they can come with serious health risks. Heart disease, joint issues, bloat, and cancer are sadly quite common. Their lifespans can also be short, sometimes just 6 to 10 years. That's why ethical breeding matters. Health testing, responsible pairings, and prioritizing temperament can make a real difference. If you're choosing a giant, choose a breeder who's in it for the dogs, not the dollars. Then we have the Newfoundland. Now, your Newfies are just giant teddy bears, really, is what they are. Activity level is medium. Some of them, it's even going to be sort of on the lower end of the scale. Sociability, generally super sociable to people and other dogs. I've never, ever had to work with a Newfie that has a sociability issue, so that speaks to itself. And not very noisy dogs. The coat is a lot of work, though. That beautiful coat doesn't come without quite a lot of effort. Then the Irish Wolfhound. We love the Wolfies. We absolutely love them. Activity level, medium. Also, again, lowish, medium. Sociability, really good with most dogs and most people. Remember, though, that they are hounds, so that sociability is not going to extend to a small creature running away from them. Their hound instinct is going to come out and they're going to chase. They can have quite high prey drive, so it's important to consider that if that's going to be an issue in your home, if there are small animals that it's going to be sharing its home with. Not very noisy dogs. Their coat can require a little bit of maintenance in terms of brushing it, but it's not a sleek, polished look that we have. We're obviously just doing grooming there for the comfort and well-being of the dog. The Neapolitan Mastiff. Activity level also low, medium. Another guarding breed, very similar in terms of the function of the breed and the original purpose, very similar to the Dogue de Bordeaux, the French Mastiff, and the kind of Corso, a guarding breed. Activity level, low, medium, again, sociability, similar to those other breeds that I've mentioned. They are not going to be sort of going out and wanting to meet everybody, whether they've got 2 legs or 4 legs. So this is something you'd need to keep an eye on if you have a Neo. Not very noisy dogs and a nice, smooth, easy coat to take care of. Then we have my personal favorite, the Great Dane. Activity level, I would say, is medium. When they're puppies, it can be a little bit on the high side, but as they mature, it settles down to medium level, and as they age, it goes all the way down to nice and low, which is quite nice for me because I'm quite lazy by nature. Sociability, I think Danes are not excessively socially drawn, but they're not also socially adverse to meeting new people and new dogs. It's something that needs to be guided, though. Danes, even though they are by definition hounds, what they were bred to do, they were also used to guard and protect. So they can be aloof, they can be suspicious. It's something that needs to be positively steered into the direction you would like it to go. I have unfortunately worked with a lot of Great Danes with sociability issues towards people and dogs, and that's not a fun thing to work with at all. So the potential for problems definitely exists there, and they really need good guidance growing up from their handler. Noise, not exceptionally noisy dogs. They have a really big bark. When I lived on a farm, my dogs every single evening would have a howl, which I know the wolfies are quite prone to as well. And while it was very noisy, I must say I absolutely loved it. I think I was the only one in our area who thought it was lovely. But they're not excessive barkers, and maintenance nice and easy, smooth, short coats, a wash every now and then, a brush and a wipe with a cloth is all you need to do. Then we have the English Mastiff. I've not worked with any English Mastiffs. We don't have any, as far as I know, in our area. But the idea that I get from them and from what I've seen and from what I've researched is that this is a real gentle giant. I know there are some other trainers who swear by this breed as being absolutely amazing. I'm going to defer to them in this regard because I don't want to give a recommendation on a breed that I've never actually laid my hands on myself. Then we have the St. Bernard. Big dog, activity level, low, medium, similar to a lot of the other giants. Sociability, I think naturally they can be aloof to people. I've met some saints that are super effusive, they're friendly, they just want to say hi, they just want to give you a big fat cuddle. And then I've met other saints where I've literally seen my life flash before my eyes. The one thing I can tell you is that when a saint is angry, I've never seen an angrier dog in my life, and it's a lot of dog. It's essential that the genetic material is there for that dog to be incredibly social because it is such a big dog. If it goes pear-shaped, it ends really, really badly. I think if you're looking for a giant breed that's really sociable with people and other dogs, there's probably better choices. Saints have their own magic unto themselves. They really are an amazing breed. Every single time I'm around a saint, I just can't get over the girth and massive structure of their heads. It's mind-blowing. But it's not a dog I would recommend for a novice. Not very noisy dogs. Coat, there's quite a bit of maintenance that goes with that coat, with that long hair and the fringing. There is, however, a short-coated or smooth-coated variety of the St. Bernard if grooming is going to be a deal breaker for you. Training and socialization are powerful, but they're not magic. A good trainer can help build confidence, teach manners, and prevent problems. But training cannot change genetics. Training helps dogs reach their best, but that best is shaped by breeding. Choose your dog wisely, then train with heart and consistency. And last but not least, we have the Boerboel. Now, this is a breed that I have a lot of experience with. I've worked, I've lost count of how many Boerboels I've worked with. A rugged, tough behemoth of a dog. Activity level, for the giants, I'd probably say the activity level is a little bit higher than one would expect. I would say your most sedate Boerboel would have a medium activity level. Sociability can be problematic, and this is where it's so important that you know what you're doing with this dog. It's a lot of dog, and if this goes wrong, it's really a very, very unpleasant situation for everybody to be in. They are naturally, they can be naturally suspicious of people, new people. So it's really important to do lots of socialization with them, and again, just maximize what they are genetically capable of. With other animals, especially with other dogs, they're going to 9 times out of 10 be inclined to not be the most sociable animals out there. And I don't want to give the dog a bad reputation at all. Boerboels are amazing, absolutely incredible dogs, but I think it's important that we understand the essence of the dog. I don't think it's fair on the dog if I tell you, I blow smoke up your backside and I tell you, oh, Boerboels are great, they can be as sociable as golden retrievers. That's not fair to the dog. It's going to put the dog and it's going to put people into situations that they are massively underprepared for. Boerboels, yeah, if you're looking for sociability to people and other dogs, not the first choice. I certainly wouldn't go with them. Unfortunately, a lot of my dog aggression cases that I work with involve Boerboels, and it's a combination of the dogs sort of having that proclivity. I'm not saying that all of them are going to be like that, but there is a proclivity towards that. And then people not being able to guide those dogs appropriately during their formative periods, and we end up in these situations. Having said that, we have some Boerboels in our classes that are absolutely lovely, absolutely wonderful with people. They're wonderful with other dogs. So I would say the potential is there, but it requires quite a bit of work. And like I said, if this is the first dog that you're going to get, it shouldn't be a Boerboel. Start with something a lot easier. Earn your stripes that way. They're not particularly noisy dogs. When they bark, it registers on the Richter scale, and maintenance, nice, easy coat to take care of. Giant breeds are life-changing in a great way. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and we'll see you soon for our next one.